Okay, class, let's continue. Okay, so as noted earlier, ang provisions, okay, so required yan to be presented as line item. Okay, so in accordance with PAS 1. So again, as discussed previously, these are the minimum. Yan, so minimum line items. So kasama dyan, provisions. And, okay, yun nga, depende sa settlement, it can be current, non-current. So, example, okay, si Jollibee, yan, nag-present siya ng provisions, current, okay, non-current. Okay? So, again, ang provisions, pag pinresent yan, on the face of the statement of financial position, line item. So, again, depende sa settlement, current, non-current. Now, number 11. Include, exclude. Total amount to be recognized as provisions. So again, considering yung nature ng provision, so include, exclude. If not included, then specify how to present or anong accounting treatment. Okay, so here's the background. The entity is evaluating whether each of the following would be a liability, a provision, or a contingent liability, or none of these. Okay, in the financial statements. Okay, as of, take note, ang balance sheet date, June 30, 2023. Okay, so basically, kaklasify natin yung A to G. So, ano ba yan? Liability, provision ba yan? Okay, contingent liability, or other items. Okay, so include, exclude. Okay, letter A. The entity expects it will incur operating losses of between 10 million and 20 million in the next accounting period. Exclude. That is not a liability. Okay, so i-recognize yan as income and expenses, okay, in the next accounting period. Okay, so that is not a liability. Okay, letter B. The entity entered into a commitment to buy 10,000 units of a certain raw material for 100 per unit to be delivered on August 30, 2023. The contract can be canceled. So since cancelable yan, so that is not a liability. So yan ay purchase commitment. So actually, yung purchase price had fallen to 90. So onerous yung contract, no? Okay, kasi ang contract price 100. Okay, so ang prevailing price 90 na lang. Okay, so the contract is onerous. But since the contract is cancelable, so that is, the loss is avoidable. So that is not a liability. So kung non-cancelable sana yan, okay, at okay, nag-decrease yung price, i-account yan as provision for onerous contract. So loss on purchase commitment. So liability yan, provision yan, kung yan ay non-cancelable. So kaya lang, cancelable, it can be avoided. Okay, exclude. Not a liability. Okay, letter C. Amount of 350,000 owing, okay, to another company, okay, for services rendered during May. Okay, so that is not that is a liability. Okay, kaya lang that is not a provision. Kasi ang provision uncertain as to timing or uncertain as to amount. Yan. Eh ito, wala namang uncertainty involved dyan. Okay, so liability yan, but not a provision. So, sang line item kasali yan. Doon siya sa trade and other payables. Okay, exclude. Long service leave estimated, okay, to be 5 million owing to employees in respect of past services. So, that is a present obligation. Okay, so that is a liability. And since the amount is estimated, so that will qualify as what? Provision. So include. So include, okay, Letter D, 5 million. Okay, provision for long service leave. Okay, letter E. Costs of 260,000 estimated to be incurred for relocating employee D from the entity's head office location to another city. The staff member will physically relocate during July. So, not yet incurred. So, this is not a liability. Exclude. Okay, so letter E is not a liability. So, not yet incurred as of June 30. So, magre-relocate pa lang in July. Letter F, provision of 500,000 for the overhaul of a machine. The overhaul is needed every 5 years and the machine was 5 years old as of June 30. Okay, so ang provision, rather, yung overhaul, that can be avoided. So, pwedeng bumili na lang ng bago yung entity para wag nang i-overhaul. Since overhaul is avoidable, there is no present obligation. So, not a liability since it can be avoided. So, simply by buying a new machine. So, exclude, not a liability. That's avoidable. So, ang concept ng liability, there must be a present obligation. So, it cannot be avoided. Okay, so letter G. Damages awarded against the entity resulting from a court case decided on June 26. Decided case na ito. So, there is a present obligation. Outflow is probable. Kaya lang ang problem, how much? Okay, the judge has announced that the amount of damages will be set at a future date. So, may hearing pa kung magkano yung babayaran. So, since inabutan na ng cut-off, wala pa yung hearing, tinanong ngayon ng entity yung kanyang lawyers. And ang sabi ng lawyers daw, maghanda daw yung entity ng pwedeng bayaran anything between 50,000 and 8 million. So, ang ganda ng range niya, no? Parang langit at lupa. Okay? So, normally, pagka merong range, okay, in that range, as likely as any other yung amount, so usually ang ginagamit, midpoint of the range. Kaya lang, provided yung range reasonable. Ito 50,000 to 8 million. Presyong nanguhula yan eh. So, estimate na nanguhula. Okay? So, since the range is unreasonable, okay, effectively, the amount is not measurable. So, there is a present obligation kasi decided case na eh. And outflow is probable. Kaya lang how much? Okay? So, hindi pa ma-determine reliably. So, dahil hindi determinable yung amount, hindi siya measurable, so hindi pwedeng i-recognize as liability. Okay? So, i-disclose lang yan as a contingent liability. Okay? So, yan yung example ng contingent liability. Okay, na present obligation, outflow probable, pero hindi ma-recognize since the amount is not measurable. Kasi para ma-recognize, there must be a present obligation, outflow is probable, and the amount is measurable. So, pag not measurable, then disclose only. So, contingent liability. Okay, so based on that, isa lang ang nag-qualify, yung provision for long service leave. So, answer, A, delta. Okay, next. So, regarding uncertain inflow and outflow,